Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, Angela.
So before starting the meeting, we always share our good news so that uh, we can start it happily. So, is there any good news for today, sir?
Oh, me first.
Wait, yeah, you first.
All right. Okay. So the good news is that I had some bugs with Camunda last week, but thankfully I was able to resolve the bugs, and also I learned a new UI framework during the last week. I learned End Design, and it was more cohesive than Material UI that we previously used. So it's nice to have a single UI design framework for the mobile and also the desktop, and also the mobile app, mobile web, and also the desktop version. So I guess that's a good thing. Okay, to you.
Okay, great, sir. Thank you. About me, I maybe the good news is this past 2 days I sleep earlier
Oh, that's nice.
than then the past how many days I forgot. Then my normal sleep time, because usually I sleep around 4 a.m. actually 3 to 4, and
Okay.
I
Any idea
try
why?
I try yeah and finally I can not really sleep early, but actually around 2 a.m. or 1. I think that's improvement, because it's really hard for me now to sleep earlier. Okay.
Okay.
And then
But
I think that's the good news for this.
but you are not fasting in Ramadan, right? So why
I
why
don't know,
sleep so
sir.
late? Uh,
Since this pandemic, I always sleep so late, and it becomes a habit, and it's hard for me now to sleep earlier.
Okay.
It's bad, I know, but that's why I want to fix it and get my sleep time more early. So because
Okay.
when you wake up in the morning, you feel tired if you sleep so late. You don't feel fresh. So, so I
Okay.
need to.
So you should we make a to do and that on the marketing tech board
No, sir.
and then assign to
Okay.
you.
Okay. So now um, we should. I should tell some of the progress I made.
Okay.
So
So please make note of the time as well in the meeting agenda for each of the meeting items that we start and finish.
on sales chatbot engineer weekly one-on-one meeting, sir.
Yes, on
Or
the agenda on Notion. So you can put
so we started at 14. We
okay.
start at 14
And then the Segue ends
or
at what
10.
time?
Like,
And actually, you should
so,
already put the personal best before the meeting. Okay.
oh,
So yeah, you can put some.
what's business best?
Yeah. Actually, what I did, I think it was a business best instead of personal one. So
Oh,
I guess first I fixed some bugs in Camunda, and then also I did
learn a new framework.
and design UI framework. Okay, and then yours, you also should write it just like that, just a summary, and
Okay.
so that's like the written one, and during the meeting you can say it in person.
Okay.
Okay, that's nice.
So now it's scorecard review. Does the but I didn't have. Is this for the task that I do or?
Yeah, if you don't have a scorecard, yeah, I think the scorecard will be at least after the bot is in production. But you should actually already have the scorecards. You can see the scorecard specifications in the accountability chart. You basically just move those here. So perhaps you can do that for the next week's meeting. Yeah, if I recall, there's some things like the number of chatbot responses per week, something like that. And maybe in Git, like you can say the number of Git commits during the past week. So it's basically that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Skip this part and do that next week.
Okay. So now this is rock review, on track or off track. Sir, I'm quite confused with the non-requirements in the convert one silver plan task, the epic task. Can you tell me like what are the examples of non-requirements?
Okay, so this is just a rock review. So what you do is that you please put your question on the issues list on the point 7. Meeting agenda point 7. Please put there.
Okay. Should I write confused with like that?
Yeah. So when we get there, we will discuss that on the agenda.
What was that? And
this one I did done right. Okay. Okay. So anything else in the rock review?
no.
Okay. If not, then you can.
But I also wait, sir. Maybe I want to check if my requirements, the scope that I feel is right, or is that so? Yeah, that's what I want to ask.
Okay.
Like the requirements in the scope.
All right.
Task.
We can.
I'm not really sure if that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah, we can discuss that on the issues list, because the rock review is actually just for reviewing. It's done or not done. But if we need to have a further discussion, then that means that will be on the point number 7.
Okay, sir.
So you can put the time in there and then move on to the next meeting agenda.
This is the rock review. Is this the rock review? I think around 2. Okay. And now it is the customer or employee headlines, good or bad reports.
Is it already? But if there's nothing yet, we can skip.
I did. I want to ask, sir. I did draw BPMN, right? So, should I draw the sales? Still draw the design diagram of the customer journey, like the UX design, or I should just fix the BPMN?
Okay, I will put that in the issues list. So, okay, PS BPMN flow. All right. So basically, the answer is both, but we will discuss later on the issues.
So there are no good or bad reports, sir.
Okay, so you can skip that.
Okay, now it's the to-do list, done or not done. So the mine, the completing the overview or plan, there's some that I haven't done it yet because I'm not really sure what to do in it, and that's why yeah, I'm not really sure, and some like the alternatives considered and also designs. Should I design that what do you mean by design here, or should I really design the UI UX, or I don't really get what designs mean, and are there alternatives considered and the non-requirements. That's why I haven't filled some, so
Okay.
and also through the sales chatbot UX design, I haven't do it. And draft the conversation. Yeah, this is also same as the UX design diagram. I haven't do it. But weekly video and blog post, I've done it. So and BPMN, I've done maybe 1 user journey. But I don't know if it's correct, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
We will review that later. So that's good. And actually, in the weekly video and blog post, please put the URL in there. I think you can put the URL in the blog post. Please do it now. And copy and paste the URL in the to-do. So it's easy. Yeah. You can like put it below.
Here?
Yeah. And create a web bookmark like the one above. So it will be like a nice preview of that.
Post. Where can I get the
go to about Lovia Live and then click on the blog or team journey.
Yes, sir.
And
Then, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, and actually you can you should have a pop-up like you create a visual bookmark or web bookmark. So there's like a preview in there, description. Can you try copy pasting it again? So it will
preview.
Try copy pasting the URL again, and then the Notion will give you like a pop-up to, so it does not just look like a URL, but it's like a preview or something.
Oh yeah.
It will look like a web bookmark. Yeah. Okay. So you can remove the like empty checkbox there. Yeah, that's right. That looks nice.
Also now the.
All right.
Should I also post the YouTube video link or not?
Well, you can, but I don't think it's necessary because the blog post already contains the YouTube link. All right. So we can move on. I think the time is incorrect. 14:28. You're not yet 14:28.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. 8:10. Lah. So.
You come from 14. The future.
I don't get it. Why I read 14 to 14:20.
Yeah, I can see that you are futuristic. Yeah. All right, that's good. I would say that's a good progress. Let's hope that next week's all of the to-dos will be completely done. All right, move on.
So I have, wait, I think I still have new to do for next week. Should I write it here or?
New to do would be below in the recap to do list part, I would say. So I think that's because it will be like a different one between the last week's to do and the next week's to do. But then on the next meeting agenda, both to dos will be merged into one. Okay.
So now it's 7 days ahead calendar review.
What's the next to dos that you want to put on the point 8?
Oh yeah. To set up rasa, so it is in Indonesian language.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Okay, just put it there so that you do not forget. Because I think you said that
Language and try.
You tend to forget, right? And me too.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And then it's done, sir.
Okay.
The 7 days. Oh yeah, now it's 7 days ahead calendar review. What is this, sir?
Okay, so usually it's when there are like events or something. But basically, if we just have like to dos, I think it's already covered in the to do. So at this time, we can skip this one.
Okay, so now move on to issues list.
All right.
So the first one is.
Okay. Yeah, actually, this is not like the first one or something, but it's more like which one that you think that you want to discuss first. So this should be like a two actually. Oh, I actually have a good news. Let me. Yeah, this is the good news that I forgot to mention actually. So if you noticed, I got myself a Camunda t-shirt here from Camunda. Yes. I got a Camunda Con Live mug.
Oh yeah.
And I got a Real Life BPMN book.
Wow.
Actually, if you are here, I should like you should get this, read this. It's really nice. They have like real examples of BPM and so on. I think it's really useful. And I got a beer too.
Wow.
In Ramadan, I got beer. Okay.
Is that a real beer?
This is a real beer. It's a real beer. See ingredients.
How can they send it? Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I got the door prize. Alcohol 6%, right? 6% alcohol. So you should try to get drunk sometime.
Ramadan. Yeah? So you're not allowed.
Maybe after my grip, yeah. Just kidding. I need to find someone to drink that. You're interested?
No.
It's the Camunda beer, so maybe by drinking that, then you will be like expert in BPMN. Okay, sorry, that was because I forgot that was the business best. Okay, move on.
Okay,
so which one that you
I
think?
Add it to the business best.
I'm the one that should add it. I'm not sure is that business best or personal best. I would say that's like kind of both. Yeah, got Camunda, Swag, and Real Life BPMN book. Okay, so which one that you want to discuss first? And please also share your screen, so we know what is being discussed.
Okay, I wanna discuss about the convert one silver plan. About this one
Okay.
first, sir.
All right. So please open it.
Yes, I've opened it. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Is the proposed work and success criteria, does this all
Okay.
how do you say, memenuhi? Is it right,
Yeah.
or
Fulfill.
just want to check first?
All right. Problem statement. User have not subscribed to silver plan, and see the problem statement. By building Chatbot, we hope that we can convert the free plan to silver plan. That's okay. That's correct. I would say that the problem statement is there are two. First is that we can convert from
Oh yeah, user haven't registered.
yeah to register an account and then convert the free plan to silver plan. Of course, from unregistered to silver directly is also great. But that's
Mhm.
maybe another sales process. I think it's possible. It's possible. Actually, the real world result is
Mm.
that it's much easier for someone to directly, after registration, to pay for a plan, than for someone to register an account and then someday they upgrade. Actually, it's much easier that they pay from the first time. So,
Mhm.
but I would say that for the purpose of the chatbot and for this quarter, for your internship, that will be to help people to register, and then after they register, to help them to pay to silver. All right, that's a good problem statement. Post work, build a chatbot that is able to answer and questions about any product and its
Is proposed
operation.
work this
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm.
is that that's actually I know that usually I know that purpose work, that what I know is purpose work is like, how do you say, studi terkait, like that, or is there
Mm-hmm.
any study, or is there any, is it
Oh
like that, or actually like this one?
no, no, that's not proposed work. That's like literature study uh,
Oh,
or related work. Yeah, that's
yeah,
related
yeah,
work.
maybe really.
Okay, so uh, the related work or literature study is part of the proposed work. So it's maybe like a sub item if it's more detailed. So for example,
Mm,
as you can see that there is a why we think it will solve the problem, right? So why is the reason?
mhm,
So that means if you have a reason, then in academic or research setting, you will say that we think that this will solve the problem because based on our research, based on previous research
mhm,
from this paper and that paper, the effectiveness is how much percent and so on. So yeah, it will solve the problem. So then you cite another work to have the argumentation that this proposal will work, something like this. This proposal will succeed. But in this case, if you want to put something like that, that will be great too. If you plan to like write a paper on that, and you want to like do also the research here, make a survey paper. Uh, that's also a good thing. Although for internship, it's not required. Do you plan to write a paper during the internship?
no, I should ask.
Oh no,
Proposal or paper? If
paper,
proposal, we have to. Oh, paper.
paper for
Mm,
a conference, international conference.
mm,
You plan?
mm, I don't know, sir. I think
Yeah, because I think uh, it's a this material that you are working on is is a good material for a paper because there will be not only qualitative ones but also quantitative results. For example, how many users are being served by the chatbot,
Oh yes.
and what kind of intents and scenarios and are being served, and you can report that in the paper, and I would say that it's definitely publishable. Okay, so if you are considering that, that's good too. That will make it easier, much easier for you to graduate on your next tugas akhir ya. But
I think
okay,
about it.
that's another thing. Okay, that's another thing.
Yes.
It's because I'm saying that it would definitely make it easier for your tugas akhir if your tugas akhir is also in chatbot. But if it's
About
different thing,
chatbot,
then
yeah.
that. But it will make your advisor, happier because you already publish a paper.
Real data.
Okay, so can I sell for the company by making staff customer interested into buying product and simply provide a great message flow. Okay, nice. And by building the sales chatbot, expect that chatbot can answer by users, generate new registered user, and contribute into buying the product. Okay, that's nice. That will be a very high level overview. Okay, that's great. And then okay, success criteria, gen user, okay, answer frequently asked questions, great. Then confused. Let's make them a numbered list. Let's make them a numbered list. So I like numbers.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
just
I
turn them
think
into
this one is the first one. Oh yeah, sir,
yeah.
I want to ask.
Okay.
Actually,
Mm-hmm.
our do we what started the how do you say it? Can I speak in bahasa?
Okay.
Hmm, apa trigger untuk eventnya? Apakah user harus start to talk to us first, or actually
Mm-hmm.
we approach them first? Because
Mm-hmm.
on your example, the user says hi
Mm-hmm.
first, right? But
Yes.
actually, for our for this sales chatbot, do
Mm-hmm.
we actually have to wait for user to chat us first, or
Mm-hmm.
do we actually message them first? Like,
Okay. So in this case, yeah, in this quarter, the scope is that the user needs to start the process first. There is a reason for this, and the reason is that because have you seen our Facebook and Instagram direct messages?
I haven't seen the direct
Okay,
messages.
don't do it now. Okay, you can do it
Okay.
later. But the issue is that even for the users that are chatting with us first, that's already too many. Okay, so that's what we are tackling first. If we are trying to chat other people who are they are not doing anything, and then we chat them, that will add more work. Okay, so we will trying to reduce the work, reduce and optimize. So we reduce the work on humans, but also make it more optimal by let's hope generating more results. So if you later review our chat, it's a the answers from human stuff is not it's not optimal. I would say the flow is not optimal because uh, there are too many users to converse, okay, to respond. And the problem is that the human need to prioritize which users are more likely to convert, and then the users who are like simply, well, let's say that perhaps they won't convert to a paid subscriber. Okay, just playing around and something. Well, there are users like that. Okay, but the nice thing with chatbot is that chatbot does not have emotion, right? They are not they it it is not
It is not.
yeah, it will not get tired to answer questions and so on. So chatbot is very patient. So chatbot can talk with a user who is just like playing around, having fun, and so on, and not pay. It doesn't matter. So okay, that's the reason. So yeah, But there is a but there is a flow where when user already started, there is should be like a time. Sometimes there is a time window. So for example, I said before that in the flow that I did you also put the flow here, or you write it somewhere here? So yeah, actually the flow design should be on the chart, but if you write it like in a written here is also okay. The example that I gave you on chat, did you write it on Notion or not yet?
Oh, no.
Okay. I would say that you should write it, but maybe not on Notion, but on the conversation flow itself. So
On the
sometimes,
conversation flow itself.
yeah, we will discuss that. Okay, conversation flow, we'll discuss that. So sometimes the bot will say, okay, please register for an account using this URL. Okay, and then maybe user does not respond, or maybe the user says, okay, thank you. Now, what is the state of the user at that point in
Not
time?
registered.
Not registered, but there is an intent to register, okay? Because the bot already says, this is how you should register. So by that time, actually, the bot should switch its state to a waiting state. For example, I said that after 18 hours, we can do that in Camunda. I'm not sure how about in Rasa, but in Camunda, definitely we can say that after this step, wait for 18 hours, or the user comes back to us. Okay, so there is a like an R one. It's in Camunda. It's called like event gateway. Okay, so whichever comes first, either 18 hours passed or the user does something and talks to the chatbot again. But even after 18 hours have passed and the user did not do anything or did not say anything to the chatbot, then the chatbot will make the chat to the user. Okay, as part of the whole process, it's not the first time, but it's like in the middle. The bot says that, have you registered your account? You get it? Okay. So it
What if?
confirms again. So follow-ups again. Did you already register? Okay. And maybe at that time, if you said that, oh yes, I have registered. Okay. So what username did you register? What's your email? So you can link the user. Or if the user says, no, I have not, okay. And then the chatbot will say, is there any problem that I can help or something? Then the user says that, oh, I'm not interested. Can you say why you are not interested? We have features, this feature, that feature, that feature. Do you think that you will be interested? Something like that. So that is something that a human will be very, very tired if a human has to do that with 100 or 200 users per day, yeah, following up that. But a bot can follow up hundreds of users or even thousands of users per day easily.
Okay, so this means that so I'll build a rasa to sync it or synchronize it with Facebook Messenger ya, sir?
Yeah,
Later.
at that time. But generally, while designing the flow, because this is like iterative development, yeah, make sure it works first with like rasa X or rasa shell. So make sure that the flow works now. But you know that there are some parts in the flow that the chatbot actually needs to have some business logic. Okay, like integrating with the database and so on and so on. And that's why the flow is important, because the flow makes it clear to both of us that this is how the chatbot should do the conversation. But then there is also which parts of the business logic is there. Okay. Also like the integration points. All right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I would say that we can So the success criteria should be ordered by the.
Okay.
I think it should be ordered by the most important one, but also it can be
Oh,
ordered by the most easiest one. Maybe for you, ordered by the easiest one to the more challenging one, it's also okay. So there is a feeling of accomplishment, even if you do not complete all of the success criteria. What do you think is the easiest ones first?
I think telling confused user.
Okay, so you can put it on top.
So actually, do they have to know that we're bot, or should we just say that we're a girl or a boy?
I would say that we can say that we are a bot, and based on I will let you know this one, because there's a really nice article that explains the, how do you say that, the psychology of chatbot. So the main point is that the chatbot should actually say that it is a chatbot, okay, and that the purpose of the chatbot should be clear. So that is to set the expectation for the user. So the user will not try to um, to chat other things that the bot can understand. Okay, let me try to search this one. Greeting, that one. Okay. Okay, I'll put this here. All right. Okay. You can open that. But I think that the chatbot has a name. The name is simple. The name is Miluf, just like the name of the web itself. Someday we will also have a bot for Lovia, and the name will be Lovia. Okay. You are opening it in another window, right? Because it's not shared here.
Oh yeah. Also, you can't see. Should I share the screen, sir?
Yeah, if possible, that would be great. So we can know what the article is about.
Done.
Yep. Okay. So that's a bad example there, and there's also a good example below. Yeah. I would say for the responses, just think about the responses. For now, make a draft and put it on the conversation flow. And if we have the conversation flow, then we can revise that. Actually, the most important parts of the conversation flows are the flows themselves, but the message from the bot, because they can be edited at any time. But the flow itself is actually, because the flow is a structure, right? The flow is a structure, but the text themselves, it can be changed. Okay, it can be changed by the marketing people. Okay, but the flow themselves, they have something to do with the logic. So that's what the most important thing I can say. All right.
Okay.
So a good example would be like the one below. So I can say that, halo, saya Miluf Chatbot. Saya bisa membantu Anda untuk menjelaskan tentang layanan satukan cinta, dan kelebihan untuk menjadi member silver, something like that. Dan ya biasanya diakhiri dengan question ya. So that's why the bot actually needs to direct the user so that the user will give a response that the bot already knows. Okay, for example, it will be very easy, right? If you just ask, "Do you?" Because when you ask "Do you," the answer will be like "ya" or "tidak," right? That will be very easy to
Yes.
parse. Okay, but something like "Can I help you with something?" That will be a much harder question for the bot to parse, right? Because "Can I help you
Oh,
with
because
something?" Yeah, the number of
yeah, questions.
potential, yeah, potential combinations are a lot. So yeah, so
Oh, okay, okay.
that's why the conversational flow is needed, because in the conversation flow you will know from that state what are the next possible states. If there are like
Okay.
only yes, no, I don't know, or other, yeah, so we have like these four states. But even if there's I can help in the "Can I help you with something," we should try to make it like the most common situations, like apa maybe the question will be, apakah Anda uh, tertarik untuk bergabung menjadi member silver? That will be a very, I would say, a much easier question. And because the answer will be like either yes
Yes
or
or no.
no, or maybe like I am confused or why or something, but it's directed, yeah, it's directed. Or things like apakah Anda sedang mencari serius mencari pasangan hidup, atau hanya teman saja, atau ingin mencari pacar gitu kan? That will be again, that will be a easy way to parse the response, ya. Because he will say like, saya serius ingin cari suami istri, saya masih pengen lihat-lihat dulu maybe, atau saya pengen
Oh
coba-coba,
yeah.
atau yeah, that will be like very limited kind of responses. Of course, because some people will not like answer, oh saya pengen beli tiket pesawat terbang. Okay, that's like a different one. All right. So I have, in this case, it's clear, yeah, for the point number 1.
Okay.
Okay, answer FAQ, that's nice. Explain the pricing, that's good. Generate user register an account, that's good. Understand what the user wants. Okay, number
I don't
5
think.
is quite ambiguous, all right? So I would say that you need to detail what kind of so instead of understand what the user wants, more like understand when the user is single, maybe understand when the user is divorced, understand when the user
Okay.
is looking for a serious relationship, understand when the
Status.
user is, yeah, something like that. Okay, so it might be like a few bullet points,
Okay.
but describe the which parts of understands.
Understand maybe users involved, like, and then
Yeah, like maybe gender, I would say gender, and name,
version
because sometimes a user does the name in the
name
chat room is different than the name.
is
Yeah,
gender
and
first, right?
gender. Okay, and the
Is
intention. Okay, the intention is just for
mention
I would say you can more specific intention choices are like just for fun, maybe relationship, and
relationship,
serious
marriage,
relation. Yeah,
serious.
for marriage. Yeah, serious for marriage. Or maybe my boyfriend is yeah, I want to cheat.
Consult can actually they consult here. Actually,
Huh?
Miluf is like consultant, right? So
uh yeah, in the
in
investor
the
state.
relationship.
Yeah, in a there is a, so that we provide a coach for that. That's why we have silver plan. But for the bot, does not need to provide consulting, at least not for now.
Yeah.
But the bot needs to be able to take some notes. Okay, to take some notes. So when a user, when a human staff is reviewing that, because at some point when the conversation is good, I mean, when the bot does its job nicely, then the bot will already collected some information about the user, and the user wants to move the next stage. And when the user moves to the next stage, maybe the user wants to, okay, I think I'm quite interested. Please let me talk to a real human being. And then the bot, okay, do you want to schedule a video call with our coach? Okay. So what time do you think that Monday at 2 p.m. is a good time for you? Yeah, and then the user say, okay, I think that's good. All right, so is it okay? So we will call you at this number on Monday on 2 p.m. Our coach Andin will call you to explain more about our service. Is that okay? Yes, okay. Thank you. So that's something like that. So by that time, the chatbot will send a notification to Coach Andin using Lovia chat room, and Coach Andin will say, okay, a new appointment with this user, this name, this gender, this status, this intention on Monday at 2 a.m., something like that. And that will make it very easy make it easier for Coach Andin to, okay, all she does will just to call that user at that time, because the appointment is already scheduled by the bot. All right. Again, that is the success criteria. If that's good, it's okay. But let's see if with the limited time that you have from today until June, we can do that or not. Do you think you can do it?
Yes.
Nice. Great. Okay. So make sure you are clear on in religion. But that's one thing. I think this is the more important ones. That's mobile number and email is also, yeah, because that's where you like match the user's information with the database. Okay. So when I would say when the user gives 3 information correctly, then that user is that user. So that's just to minimize the user that tries to link to a false user or fraud, something like that. Okay. So if he like gives the mobile number correctly, email correctly, and name correctly, okay, we can link. Make users subscribe to a plan. Yeah, that's good. Maybe that will be like a plus or silver plan. 0.6, yeah, plus or silver. Actually, the most important one is the silver plan. I have like a 10-year plan that in 10 years the plus plan will not be there anymore. The lowest one would be like silver.
Silver plan.
So yeah, try to do a silver plan. Plus maybe sometime, but now it is focused on the silver plan. Make users subscribe to the silver plan.
To a silver. Okay.
We will have even better plans in the future. All right. So user stories type 1, generic. Okay, nice. Reply greeting, meta-application account, case specific answer, handle confused user. Okay, good. User type 2, register users but not yet subscribed, examine the pricing and information about the product. All right. Number 2, make them subscribe to silver. Okay. Because we don't really have a difficulty on making users subscribe to plus. And yeah, I think plus is okay, but for this case, this 1420 something. Yeah. Right. Nice. Okay. And then
now let's check the scope.
Chatbot understand Indonesian language. Okay. Future work. Then chatbot it can answer most fuck. Okay. So you put the fuck on the FOQ on the future work. It's no problem. No requirements. Yeah. Designs. Yeah. Designs will be like link. Yeah. You can put the link there on the. But I think that's already on the draw design diagram, right? So I think I can put that. Don't worry. I can put
What's
that
the
there.
non-requirement, sir? And the
Non-requirements.
scope, like,
What do you think would be like non-requirements? I'm not sure what the non-requirement should be.
that is out of scope. I mean, but is the future work? No, is this right that I understand the future work? Like it means, for now, that my to-do is to create chatbot. That's why I put it in current project requirements, and maybe the next week. So my task is to train the chatbot so it can answer. Is this right? To place them like this, or actually the training
Future
is current?
chatbot is actually after June. So if after June you are still
Oh,
with
so
us, so that is something like will be completed some. Yeah, it's like the non-requirements. Okay, it's like the non-requirements, but it's actually like yeah, after you are done in this time frame until June, what will be the next ones? Okay, but if you think that you can do the FAQ during these 2 months, then no, that's not a future work one. Okay, maybe the future work will be write a paper on that. You can put that at future work. Okay, you can put that. Unless you plan to write the paper during the next 2 months, then that will be not a future work. Okay, but I would say that I would strongly recommend if you can finish this chatbot with a pretty good success criteria. Yeah, maybe not 100%. I would say 60% is already a good materials for a paper. It's like you have all the numbers, you have all the data, you have all the designs, you have the implementation. Why not put some words on it and submit to internal conference? And actually, not only that, I will fund the international conference. Okay, if you submit a paper, I will fund the registration fee. I will fund your hotel. I will fund your airplane if you need an airplane. I will fund the ticket cost, Gojek or something that you need to go to the conference and back. Is that a nice offer?
Nice offer.
Yeah. As long as the conference is not like in the US, yeah, you should like go to Singapore or Malaysia, something like that. Not too far. Right. Okay. So
Is this the
please,
current project requirements?
yeah. Okay. So please consider writing a paper, yeah, after this internship is done. All right. I think that's good. That's good, or rather too many. It's okay.
Is this all the current project requirements? Is this right?
Yeah, I think it's redundant, yeah, because you already put that on top, yeah. Success criteria and requirements. I think they are like almost, but probably it's like the requirements will be like we use like Rasa NLU. It needs to be able to integrate with Camunda. It needs to be able to integrate with yeah. So it's like more like what do you say? Constraints. I would say it's more like constraints because the goal is already on top. But yeah. So we use a Rasa framework. Although I'm open to suggestions. Yeah. Do you find any other framework that is better than Rasa, or this one is good? because you
I
already know.
haven't searched for other frameworks,
Yeah,
but
but
I think this is.
unless, yeah, so, and able to integrate with Camunda, able to integrate with Line and Facebook and Instagram. I would say it's more like Facebook Messenger. Yeah, Facebook Messenger. I think it's quite easy. I'm not sure about Line. I think the problem with Line is that I don't know if it's possible for the same.
Oh, Line, Rasa. Do you mean
Line.
able to integrate Line chatbot?
Yeah, Line chatbot. But
I
my
think Line chatbot
question.
you cannot use Rasa. I think. I don't know if you can. I think you have to use Line, the Line. But I ever built a Line chatbot, and I think you have to use. But I don't know if maybe the Line framework.
Okay. I had experience with Line chatbot, but that was a long time, like 3 years ago, and it was possible to do everything. However, at that time, the constraint is that the account can only be controlled by a chatbot or a human being. And when you convert that account to a chatbot account, then only the chatbot can answer. Human being cannot answer. That's, I think, the problem with Line. But with Facebook Messenger, I think how it works is that a chatbot can also participate in a conversation that is also handled by the human. So I think that's a very nice way to do this, because sometimes usually the chatbot will answer, and then if the user wants, I want to talk to customer support officer, a real human, and then the chatbot will say, okay, I will notify, and I will let you know, and we will get back to you again. And then the chatbot will send a message to Lovia chat room that please handle this user. He wants to talk to a real human. And then the customer support can open the chatbot, and all of the history with the chatbot is there. All the information that's collected in the database is there, and he can do the work quickly, because he does not need to ask again, what is your name and what is your gender, what is your religion, and so on. Okay, just get to the point. I would say that Line Messenger would be optional at this point to make a short time. Yeah, put it optional. All right, and I would say that the next one is can read write database. Read write database. Yeah, read write database using Strapi and GraphQL. I would say that using Strapi and
How do you write
GraphQL.
Strapi?
STRAPI. Okay. PI and GraphQL. And yeah, and the database is in MongoDB, but that's a like a technical thing. Yeah, but you can mention that, and database is MongoDB. So that's where you. All right, nice. Okay, are you familiar with any of these technologies, Strapi, GraphQL, and MongoDB? Not okay, no problem. That should be not very challenging part. Right. And actually, one other intern, Kevin, is doing this Strapi. So yeah, you can read a bit about that, but maybe later. All right, designs.
What
Yeah,
are the non-requirements there? No, we haven't.
I don't think there is anything yet at this point. But basically, the non-requirements is everything that is not explicitly defined here. That's why I try to be specific in the requirements and success criteria. For example, when you say that be able to understand what the user wants, wow, that's like that's like the whole words requirement. So, okay, so what kind of understanding specifically that is needed? So when you are specific in the criteria and requirements, then it makes it not so needed to list the non-requirements, right? So instead of, okay, I want everything except this, except this, except this, I would rather just, okay, what I want is this one, this specific one, and this specific one, and this specific one. So there is no need to make exceptions. I think that's easier to understand.
Okay.
So you can leave it empty for now. All right.
What is alternatives considered?
Alternatives, I don't know. Which ones? I think you can say other than.
Is this like this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The way how I I think nggak jadi. No.
Yeah, I would say in a business perspective, not technical, yeah. We can say, okay, alternative is there to add more customer support stuff, yeah. And yeah, okay, you can put that, you can write that. Add more
Add
customer
more?
support, yeah. Add more customer support staff. Not considered because, yeah, honestly, the cost will be bigger, and maybe the quality is not as good. Yeah, it's not as good. So actually, it's not. So we want to use a hybrid approach. Okay, hybrid approach.
Considered means
Yeah.
the alternatives beside building this chatbot.
Yeah. Besides building the chatbot, and also the alternative from technical side. For example, other frameworks than Rasa.
Oh.
Say like maybe Dialogflow is one of the alternative that I consider. However, it's not chosen because it's not open source, right? So with Rasa, we have a bit more control, and even if we need support, we can get the enterprise or support contract from Rasa company. Okay, so it's something like that. I would say that's about it. Do you have any other alternative that you were researching before?
No. Maybe I know database, but I haven't know see how MongoDB works and this.
Okay, so why not SQL, right?
Yeah, Postgres maybe
Okay,
or
okay. Why not SQL? First is this because MongoDB is more scalable. MongoDB is more scalable, and the SQL's advantages is referential integrity and transactions, yeah, atomic transactions. And these are the things that we do not need for this use case. Okay.
okay. Advantages. Yeah.
But of course, if you want to debate or have discussion on that, fine with me too.
Okay.
I would. We actually use both SQL and MongoDB in our system. So we use MariaDB. Mostly we use MariaDB for the SQL, but the majority of our systems is using MongoDB. So we use MariaDB just for the parts that are needed for data warehouse and analytics purpose, and also maybe things like financial stuff and so on. They are using SQL.
I think
the related documents is already on the design part. Right.
is this related like the study about this or the implementation or other companies that?
I would say that you can put a link to our tech. I think I would do that because so you know what I'm talking about. So, because you you tag this on the let me see. Right, yeah, and other resources like Chatbots magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, and other stuff.
And others, yeah.
And also like the GitLab project, that would be a nice way.
Oh.
Chatbot system, where is it? Yeah, things like that. So at least now we have everything in one place. But later on, maybe in the next few weeks, then most of this information should be on about.lovia live when we already like have a more mature project specification. Because this one is for like drafting and when we are not yet finalized stuff. But after some time, then I think, okay, so this is like the flow and so on and so on. So we should put that on about Lovia Live. And I mean the handbook, yeah, the handbook of about Lovia Live, not the blog. The blog is for like updates, weekly updates, but the handbook is for like the reference documentation and guide. All right. Okay, so any question on this part?
No, I think
I would say this is done. And then, okay, let's go back to the agenda. Okay.
The GitLab project, oh yeah, already, you already put it here. Okay, done. Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to the agenda.
Go back to
and you can mark that one as done. Okay, now, all right. Now that about the conversation flow. Yeah. I think the next part is the conversation flow and what is the difference? Okay, you can go to the to-do list and go to the conversational flow link. Where is it? That one, the draw the sales chatbot. Okay, this is the, have you seen this one from Behance?
Yes.
All right, so you can open it. I think you should share the screen.
Okay. Share the screen.
So do you think how much time do you spend? How many % do you spend for designing the chatbot, and how many % do you spend for coding the chatbot?
I think designing is like 60 to 70.
Okay.
The coding is like maybe around 30 to 40%.
Okay. Is that ideal or?
The time.
Yeah. Is that ideal, or what do you think should be the ideal one?
I think that's ideal because the hard part is actually designing and how do you say, memantapkan,
Mhm.
make sure that the workflow is good, and then we can
Mhm. Okay. So how much time for testing?
testing. Oh yeah. Okay, so no. So testing. Do we directly test to the user, like
Well, first you need to test
in
it with you, and hopefully
right?
hopefully it's an automated test, yeah. But maybe initially manual test is okay. Maybe you can test it, and then I can test it. Make sure it
Mhm.
works at least on the initial flows that we want. But after that, an automated test needs to be done, because if we have more flows, manual testing will take more time than the coding itself. Okay, so uh, I'm not sure if is there a way in Rasa to make automated testing. What I mean by automated testing is that each conversation path or flow should be like,
Automated.
yeah, it's like a file, or yeah, you can, I don't know the format, yeah, but basically there will be some samples. If in machine learning you have samples, right, this image and this image, or yeah, articles and so on. So each conversation should be a sample, and the result of each conversation would be like whether the conversation is successful or not, yeah. uh, the expected the expected result of the conversation is the same as our flow of the design. If it's not expected, then it means it fails. In machine learning terminology, that will be like whether it's a true positive or uh, a false, yeah, a false prediction. Okay, negative one. So on this, let's learn from this flow from this user. What's her name? So do you have any, what do you think about this flow from her, yeah? Not our flow, not our own flow. What do you think about this flow? Is it clear or something and so on? I want to know your opinion.
I think it's
We only have 5 minutes left.
pretty clear.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's very a long conversational flow. I think this is how it should work.
Mm. I think your chatbot is roughly this size, yeah. I think your chatbot is roughly this size, but um, but it is okay, because when you have other design, this is what I mean by UX design. It's not really like, it's not the visual interface.
Yeah.
No, it's the conversational user experience. Okay, so this is what I mean by UX design, like basic. But I think in this one, it also starts from the user area. If you go from the top,
This one starts from
it
user.
starts from the user, but there are several combinations of the user. I would say that, yeah, that's like the same with us. Okay, the first is definitely high, but there might be other kinds, but it's maybe similar to the start one and start two. Okay, so start one and start two is actually just different starts, but it's actually going to the same flow.
Very similar.
Yeah, if
What
you
app
think that,
do I use, sir, to create this conversation workflow?
I think you this is what you should create in diagrams.net actually. So what I think is that I'm open to suggestions, but what I think is that there will be two diagrams. One is the conversation flow, this one. This one is the conversation flow. And the other one is the BPMN workflow
Yeah,
diagram.
man.
Yeah. And the BPMN workflow diagram, you should use Camunda modeler to do that. So the one that you already create, that's fine. You can just move the diagrams to Camunda Modeler because they will be edited anyway. Okay, so we will need to make some revisions. Now, maybe what is the difference? I would say that the primary difference is that the flow is really about the experience, the user experience. I will give one concrete example. So please go to your BPMN diagram. You can open a new tab on your BPMN in the Draw Sales Chatbot. Go to the Draw Sales Chatbot UX link. And point to do, you can also go to the board.
Wait.
It's there actually on point 5. On point 5, yeah. Yeah, that one. That one, and there's also that one too. All right. So let's see if this one is all right. Is this the more up to date? I think you should open with diagrams.net if it's not the most up to date one.
I think that is the most
okay.
Up to date.
Because I thought I think you created more boxes before. Maybe you updated it. All right.
But I delayed it, I think.
All right. Yeah. So actually there will be one more thing that when user already registered, okay, scroll to the right a bit. You can also zoom. Right. So when you the user have already registered, give information, okay, that's all right. But maybe one thing is because you do not model the flow to ask the user for information, right, to link the account. So for linking the account, maybe in this case, in the BPMN workflow, it's maybe just 1 or 2 or 3 boxes, maybe like ask users details, okay, ask user details and so on. But in the flow, that will be maybe like several different questions. Can you imagine that? Because let's see, when you fill a form in Google Forms, how many screens in Google Forms usually? Usually just one screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, for example, registration form. You have like name, email, phone number, okay, gender. You can fit it in one form. And in this case, in the BPMN diagram, that will be just one box. Okay, user fills form, that's it. But in the conversation flow, that's actually several different questions. That's like question 1, okay, what is your name? User answers. And then, okay, what is your email? User answers. And then what is your, okay, can you imagine that? So one form can be in the conversation flow, several different ones. And again, for information, if you open a web page, actually that will be like a long page with several different information. Okay, this is the pricing, and this is the what, and this is the what. But in the chatbot, that will be like, okay, silver plan is like this, maybe like my 1 paragraph or 2 paragraph, and then okay, and then the chatbot will say, apakah sudah jelas, apakah saya bisa menjelaskan tentang pricing, tentang harga. Okay, so there is like a pause and like a flow. Yeah, because the name is the flow. Okay, so it's different when the web page, everything is like in one page, they can scroll up and down. In conversation, you don't like give 2,000 words of chat, yeah, in one screen. You give bite size. So that's, I would say, the difference between the flow and the BPMN diagram. So in BPMN diagram, several questions, in here maybe just one box. And BPMN is more about the flow and also the integration with the system. For example, when there is an answer, then that means there should be one box where that that integrates with the system, saves to database, and so on. Maybe in the conversation flow, it's not modeled because the user does not care whether you are updating a database or whatever. Well, what the user cares is actually the chatbot saying, okay, let me check your data for you. Please hold on. And then after a few seconds, the chatbot will say, okay, I have checked the database. This is the account. Is it really your account? And then it says, okay, yes, this is my account. All right, so let's go to the next part and so on. Okay, any question on this part? So you need to move this one to the BPMN diagram in Camunda Modeler. And this diagram will actually be the conversation flow diagram. Yeah, I mean the diagram that you put here will be the conversation flow and not the BPMN. The BPMN you will use Camunda for that.
This will be the conversational flow. This is not the BPMN.
Yeah. So after you have migrated the diagram to Camunda, you can delete.
Okay.
You can delete this.
Yeah.
And then you use this one to draw the conversation flow. Okay. So any questions so far?
Should I fix? What should I fix? Or yeah, what should I add or fix?
Okay. Yeah. So I would say that at this time, it's more important to get the conversation flow right before the BPMN. Okay. So you can make the conversation flow during the next week. And you can also try to make a BPMN diagram based on that conversation flow. And then next week I will review both. Okay, but the first one that I will review is actually the conversation flow first, because then the BPMN just like it's more like the integration part. The conversation flow is actually the user experience. So okay, so actually our time is already out, but let's do the draft conversation flow first. Okay, go to the open the card again, please. Open the card because there is another style. Okay, draw the sales chatbot one. Please open that one. Not this one. The card. There is another style of conversation flow. The draw.
This one.
Yeah, draw the sales chatbot one. Not this one. Not on Behance. It's another article.
The sales chatbot.
Yeah. The to do.
Yes.
Okay, and
this one.
Yeah, that one. So it's also a conversation flow, different one, and I would say I like the other style better, but this style makes it possible. This is actually a very complex flow. Yeah, it's a very complex flow. It's a very big flow, but this style makes it possible to condense it in one diagram because it's not too detailed. If you notice, there are very few texts. Okay, it does not detail the answer of the bot. So, for example, more categories and then just category A, category B, and so on, but no actual bot text. The actual bot text is very little. So, I think this is more like a map than a conversation flow.
Yeah.
So maybe like each of the sub trees is one flow. Maybe this like maybe six flows. Okay, there are actually 6 flows, but then you can see the whole picture of all of these flows. But each of the flows is more like the one in the Behance. Yeah. It's a Behance diagram. what is her name? Forget again. All right, so let's go back to diagramsnet. Let's make a page in there. Let's make a new page in diagramsnet.
Diagramsnet.
The name, yeah, the one that you
Here.
were the one that you are drawing. Okay. Okay, it's from Laura Bisio. Yeah, Laura Bisio is the creator. Okay, make a new page below. You can make a new page, like
Here.
make a new sheet.
Oh, this.
Yeah, it's like a Google Sheet, right? All right. So you can start from user says hi. Okay, that's one way to do it. I don't know what kind of element that you want to make. I would say it's up to you. You can mimic the one in the from Laura.
Belum. Sorry, sir. Ya ampun. Yeah, okay, sir. Like this, user says hi.
Okay. I would say it's
Wait. No.
I would say it's better to use just a block or something, because we are representing the like
Oh,
from Laura's diagram. Please open Laura's diagram.
Laura's diagram is.
Yeah, in Behance. Yeah, that one. Does it draw?
Well, I can't see. This one. Wait, this one.
You go from the top one. Oh yeah, there is a person, but the box itself is the yeah. Okay. I think
This
you're
one.
right. Yeah, more like the box. Yeah, the box. Like I need to upload blah blah. Okay. Oh yeah, you can draw the person. You can draw the person. You can draw the person and then the box below the person. That's the person icon.
This one person.
Oh, it's a BPMN. Okay, so user will be above and then the box below, right? And then say user says hi. Right. Okay. I don't think that you should put the user says hi. Just put hi there. We will use colors to differentiate. I think because Laura uses green, so the box will be green. Okay, so make the box green on the user says. Green for the user and blue for the bot. Yeah, nice. Hi, make another box for saya ingin mencari jodoh. Okay. And all the variations, yeah, all the variations, because it won't be that formal. All right, that's good. And you can put the response before.
Response.
Yeah,
blue
you can use the one that I showed you before in the Lovia chat room. So make that into this flow. Just for example on this meeting, but after that you will need to be more creative, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, can do that. Okay, that's good. Yep, that's exactly. Yeah. Yes, because there will be a belum and there will be sudah, gitu ya.
Oh, wait.
There will be belum and there will be sudah, so that means that you will need to clear the flow from the sudah part. And also for the belum part.
Okay. Belum here.
Yeah, this is very nice. Very nice. Yeah, this will make it very, very easy to understand what the bot is doing and to verify whether the bot is making a proper response. Actually, when this is done, I think I can find other people to test, or maybe your friend to test the bot that you create. Do you plan to ask your friend to test your bot?
I think yes.
Yes, okay, that's nice. That's nice. More testers is good, yeah. It's also better if the tester can train the bot, yeah, train the bot.
Okay, sorry. But I haven't made the arrows.
Yeah, you can actually making arrows is easy. Just click on one, yeah, and then there is a arrow. Nah, you can just simply do that. It's a simple one, right?
Yeah,
So
it's not straight. No.
up to you. There are several different ways to make it straight. Actually,
Later on. Okay.
don't become OCD, okay?
I'll fix it later.
Don't become OCD. All right, so maybe there will be a different portion of time. So 40% time for designing UX, 10% for coding, 10% for testing, and 40% for making the arrow straight.
I'll fix it later. Okay.
All right. Okay. And yeah, there should be another, and the bloom one. The bloom one.
Another?
There is another flow that I told you on the chat, right?
Oh.
Okay, I would say, I think you asked what, oh, the sudah one. I think the sudah one is above. The sudah one. Oh, there are 3 flows there. I think I already gave you the path for the sudah, yeah? Okay.
Sudah.
Yeah, it's above.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, put it there. Make it easy. Okay. Yeah, and this time you can ask apa email yang terdaftar di akunnya
Boleh
Kak
minta.
gitu.
Ya.
Ya betul, boleh minta. Bagus.
Daftar
Okay.
di akun.
Yeah, and then you can also ask I think the first one should be full name, yeah. And the first one should be full name, and then email, and then mobile phone. I think that's a good yeah. And then answer, and then email, and then mobile phone, or maybe mobile phone first.
Name first. No? Then what should I fill this like up to me or?
Yeah, you can say like a user's name or something like that. Maybe you can put it in brackets or something like that to signify that that's like a variable. Yeah. I would say that should be like an English variable name, yeah. So this will be like one-to-one correspondence with the actual variable name in the technical one. So I would say that will be like a user full name with F capital and N capital. So that would be like a proper what's it that they use that make like the without space, yeah, without space, and I think the U will be lowercase because that will be like a JavaScript variable. Okay.
Variable.
Nice. This will be, yeah. Okay. Yeah, something like that. That's good.
Nomor HP.
Okay. User mobile number. Yeah, phone number is also okay. Right. And then the bot will respond, baik Kak, saya cek dulu ya. Okay. Nah, after saya cek dulu, then there will be a process, yeah. You can make a box for the process, check to database, and there should be a service task, yeah. Please make a BPMN service task element in there. It should be, yeah, BPMN service task, the one with the gear icon. It should be like a gear icon. Is there one? Oh, yeah, it's the gear icon. The gear icon should be. Yeah, that's actually like a task with a gear icon. So you put them separately. Should be like in the top left or top right, something like that. Yeah. So that would be check user in Strapi, or check user in database. You can say that, check user in database. Right. And then after that, there will be two flows. The first flow is that baik Kak, kami sudah mengelink gitu, user Anda. And the other flow is that maaf kami tidak bisa menemukan, and then go back to top, ya, or something. So that will be a success and not found, ya. Yeah, that's true. And the other flow would be okay, baik, and also in the chatbot,
Or Anda.
ya, should be name, ya. Saya sudah menemukan akun Kak name, ya. Kak name.
Kak name.
Yeah.
Nama.
You can revise that, ya. Now, all right. Okay. After this would be go to the top again to ask their name from the start. Maybe there's
this one, right?
Yeah, go
The
to
one.
the name again.
Yeah.
Name, yeah, the first one. Ya, apa nama lengkap lagi? Of course, that's not ideal, and then the user will loop forever. But for this case, that's already very good. Okay, so just make it as simple as possible for this time.
Okay.
And after baik Kak, saya sudah menemukan akun Kak Nama, and the next one would be another box. Kak Nama masih member free. Kami memiliki layanan silver ya, blah 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 gitu. Oh, be like the same one from above.
The top one.
Okay. Yeah. And the one that the with the silver ya. Because he already registered, not the one below. This one. Okay. Okay, so copy that one below, and you can say that saat ini Kak, nama menggunakan akun gratis ya. Nah, bila Anda ingin serius, nah, it's the same thing again, right? Okay. Actually, there will be like two there. Satu yang akun gratis, and the other one is for plus. So for plus needs to be upgrade. But generally, the flow is like similar, yeah. Or maybe akun variable ya, akun plan. So it can be like it can be free or plus, depending on the current plan. Maybe gratisnya you can replace with current plan. All right, that's nice. And then you can say ya or tidak or confused and so on. But generally this is it. I hope
Get it.
This is more clear on what the expectation is about the conservation flow.
Okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we are already way after the deadline for the meeting.
Yes.
Really sorry about that. Really sorry about that. Right. But does that answer your question, or is there any other confusion from you?
I get it, sir.
Okay, nice. Because even that flow, that's still like the diagram, right? Implementing that flow in its current form, I think will already take some effort. And the ideal flow, because every week we will improve the flow to make it better and so on, that will be another work on the implementation part.
Okay.
But I would ask that you please make the flow as complete as possible, as complete as possible, at least according to your own imagination, Just make the flow on your own imagination, and also make the not understand part, okay? So when the flow is that the bot does not understand, maybe it's like a different like a side.
Don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
When it's not understand, the bot should ask the user to like, I don't understand.
Okay. Okay, sir, I get it.
All right.
Okay, so can you wait for a while?
Okay. So no more questions?
No more.
Okay. So that's the, okay, please recap, conclude the meeting and rating, and then make the agenda for next week.
Okay, so for today's meeting, I've learned about the conversation flow, and also the next task that I have to do is to list scorecard on next week's meeting agenda, set up rasa, and also move the BPMN workflow diagram to Camunda, and also create a conversation flow of the UX design, chatbot UX design. Okay, that's all the to-do list for me, I think. Oh, wait, this is, what is initial chatbot implement? Oh, so is this for next week?
Yeah, for next week. The recap to do is for the next week's one, because the point number 5 is for the last week's to do, right? This one is the next week's to do.
So I have to implement it on Rasa or what? This
On Rasa.
conversation.
Yeah, on Rasa.
Okay.
And prioritize the conversation flow first. And hopefully if you still have time, then you can try to implement the conversation flow in Rasa.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, okay. That's all for the task. And now it's the time to give rating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah. So this is for from me, right, sir, Angel Marpaung, to
Mm-hmm.
the rating about the meeting today.
Mm-hmm.
I say this 8 maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, because
Right. Right.
okay.
Can
So
please
it's
create
all.
the please create the meeting agenda first for next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do
You
we copy
can,
this?
yeah, you can right click and
Duplicate.
duplicate. Yeah, and then copy to next week and remove the parts.
Okay, so this will be. Can I move this?
Yeah, so you move everything from 8 to 5. From conclude, you move that to the to-do list. Okay.
Move. So yeah. Oh, just move it. There. I'm sorry. Move it here. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then the ones that are already checked, you can
Delete.
delete. Okay. For the weekly video and blog post, you make it blank again.
This one. Okay.
Yep, that's good. Not delete, but make it blank, because you will need to make a weekly video again, right?
Make it blank. Oh, this one. Yeah. Wait.
Undo, undo. Can you undo?
Control Z. Yeah.
You can undo, or if not undo.
What should I delete? This one is.
No, I mean undo first. Undo. Can you undo? So that will show again. Undo again. Undo again. Is it possible to do another undo? No?
No.
Okay. So just put another one in the to-do list, the weekly video blog post, because you deleted that one. You should not delete it, right?
Oh.
You just
Why?
make it blank.
Why don't I delete it, sir? Why?
Because
But
next week you
it's done,
will
right?
need. Because next week you will need to make
Oh.
another video and blog post. So it's a weekly
So
thing.
every week. Wow.
Yeah, every week. Is it hard?
I had to know, sir. Let's see.
Okay. Make it not hard.
Quickly. Oh, this one. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. To do is. My God. To do. Oh. Oh.
Why? Too many to dos.
No, no, no. Okay.
Right. That's great. And the issues list will be empty. I think on the issues number 7 they'll be empty. So you will need to fill if you have any issues to discuss on the next week.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. And the rating will be empty as well. And then that's it. Then we're done.
Okay. Okay. Done.
Did you already put the time? Oh yeah. Okay. Nice.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the insight, and also thank you for helping me with some issues. I hope I can do better next week. And thank you for today. And now, now we can leave the meeting now, sir.
Okay, thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.